I pointed out my wife reacted the same way after my promotion announcement. My company threw a small celebration last Friday because I got promoted. Nothing huge, just a dinner at a nice restaurant with my team and their partners. My boss made a little speech, thanked everyone, and handed me a framed certificate. People clapped, took pictures, the usual stuff. I was honestly proud of myself. I'd worked my ass off for years to get there. When it happened, I looked over at my wife. She was smiling, clapping, but it felt off. Like her smile didn't quite reach her eyes. Everyone stood up to hug me and she joined in, but she didn't say much. After the applause died down, people started ordering drinks and chatting. My wife excused herself to go to the bathroom and didn't come back for a long time. Long enough that one of my coworkers asked if everything was okay. When she finally returned, her eyes were a little red. She said she had a headache and just wanted to sit quietly. I didn't push it. I figured maybe the crowd was overwhelming or she just needed a minute. We finished dinner, said our goodbyes, and drove home. On the drive, she was quiet at first. Then she said, "Did you notice how awkward your manager made that whole thing?" I shrugged and said not really. She kept going, saying it was kind of tacky to single one person out like that, and that it probably made other people uncomfortable. I said maybe, but it was just a work thing and everyone seemed happy. Then she said, "Honestly, I think some people were jealous. You could feel it. I didn't really agree, but I didn't argue." She sounded irritated and I didn't want to start anything. She added that my coworker Sam barely clapped and that it was obvious he was bitter. That's when I said it. I said, "You kind of acted the same way tonight." She turned her head slowly and said, "What does that mean?" I explained, "You went quiet. You disappeared for a while. You didn't really seem happy about it." The car went silent immediately. "That's not true," she said. "I was happy for you." "I'm not saying you weren't," I said. "I'm just saying you seemed off. Kind of like how you're saying Sam was." Her jaw tightened. "That's completely different." "How?" I asked. "You're judging him for not reacting the right way, but you did the same thing." She let out a sharp breath. I was overwhelmed. "That's not jealousy." "I didn't say it was jealousy," I said. "I'm just pointing out the similarity." "You always do this," she said, her voice getting louder. "You turned things around on me instead of just listening." I pulled into our driveway and shut off the engine. I was listening. "You were criticizing other people, and I noticed you weren't exactly celebrating either." She shook her head. "I didn't make it about me. I didn't ruin anything." "You didn't ruin anything," I said. "Neither did Sam." She opened the car door. Unbelievable. She got out and slammed it shut. Inside, she went straight upstairs. I stayed down, replaying the conversation in my head, wondering how it escalated so fast. Around an hour later, she came down in sweatpants, sat on the far end of the couch, and turned the TV on without saying anything. "I wasn't trying to criticize you," I said quietly. "I just thought it was unfair how hard you were being on everyone else." "Well, it felt like criticism," she said without looking at me. We sat there in silence, watching some random show neither of us cared about. After a while, she stood up and said she was going to bed. I stayed on the couch that night. The next morning, she barely spoke to me before leaving for work. Around noon, she texted that she needed time to cool off and we'd talk later. That was 4 days ago.